All right, let's bring in Jamie McLennan today for Pro-Am Sports. If you're watching on YouTube and you've not yet subbed to the channel, please do. Jamie, as you could probably guess, vibes are very high in the city of Edmonton today.
Yeah, I mean, considering their record in game ones of series as well, that was that's all I could think about. Okay, is this a scheduled loss for the Oilers in game one, and then they're going to get their act together maybe game two or game three? And it looked like that early on. You're down 2 Cobb and a couple missed assignments, and the Stone goal goes off of his skate. It's going wide off the redirect in the slot. But after that, I thought they were rock solid. They didn't give up a lot. I would say both of you have to get Pickard jerseys if he takes them to the Stanley Cup. I mean, I thought he was good. He didn't have to be brilliant, but he made some really good saves at the right time, especially on that penalty kill. The one penalty kill, they had 5 shots on goal. And, I think I've talked to you guys about this. The one thing analytically, if you guys are numbers driven, I believe heading into the series last night, from side to side plays, so east-west seam plays, Calvin Pickard was 9 for 9 so far in his playoffs. And Stuart Skinner had given up 5 goals on 8 seam plays. So his lateral movement is something certainly that has helped him when teams try to get him moving. And he made a couple side-to-side plays last night that I thought were really sharp. Again, he didn't have to be the difference. All he had to be was good, and he was good last night.
I know you like to get into those numbers, Noodles, and that's where I want to go next with. It just seemed 5-on-5. It was a no sweater. I'm looking at natural stat trick 13-3, the high danger chances. I don't know what your numbers are pointing to, but it just seemed, even when they were trailing in the game, I know that second period 12-1 where the shots didn't get a goal, but Leon scoring a minute in the third. It just seemed like it was outside of special teams. The Oilers at times toying with them, like really no problems 5-on-5.
Yeah, sometimes other teams are allowed to have off nights. I didn't think Aiden Hill had his best night. I thought Stone and Eichel looked good, effective early on, and then the Oilers did a really good job of the one thing I noticed, which they did a better job of, and I think they learned their lesson against LA, was back pressure. So they're allowing their D to try and stay up on the play, try and be aggressive because you've got back pressure and guys lifting sticks. I thought they did a really good job last night. At all strengths, the high danger chances I had from Sportlogic was 15-8. So, it's kind of on par. They created a lot of high danger chances, didn't give up a lot. I do believe shorthanded. Even strength, it was 11-5. So they gave up 3 high danger chances on the penalty kill. But, ultimately, I think this team played really good 5-on-5. I think you're going to get a better Vegas team in game 2. Based on getting Pietrangelo back, I would imagine. I mean, they announced it was sick. I don't know if that's the truth or not. Sometimes in the playoffs, you don't get all of the truth. But you certainly noticed the absence of Pietrangelo. He's a guy who plays up a lot of minutes. He's on their penalty kill. He's heavy, and he certainly has the rivalry going with Leon as well.
Yeah, and that'll be interesting to see where that picks up. Just sticking with the blue line, not having Pietrangelo there is huge for the Golden Knights. But the Oilers' blue line was excellent last night, and going into this series, as you look at forwards, probably give the Oilers the check there, and Aiden Hill, probably a little bit of a check there, and then the Golden Knights' blue line, you're just like, okay, definitely a check there. But the Oilers' blue line last night, I thought outplayed them. And if they can continue to do that, Noodles, I mean, that should lead to a series victory, shouldn't it?
Well, it should. And, the guy who I think is quietly, and I'm sure it's not quietly in that market, has played really well is Klingberg. I mean, Klingberg he is what he is as far as speed. He's not going to all of a sudden be McDavid as far as speed overnight. But he does think the game well. He handles the puck well, and he does not panic. So, from an offensive standpoint, and this is a really bad analogy, but he has the type of vision that Evan Bouchard has as far as moving the puck. So But I think he's got a little bit more, obviously a lot more experience than Bouchard. So he makes the play that should be made, where Bouchard will try something and go, hey, that looked really good, or hey, that didn't look too good, and we're going to have to defend. Now, Bouchard has really cut that down in the last couple games, and I think he's been really good. I thought Darnell Nurse was solid again last night, being a difference maker. But, Wallman has settled in. As a group, I thought they did a terrific job, but I wanted to give a special shout out to Klingberg because I think he's a guy that, he'd been put in a tough situation. Let's not forget, you had Brown in there to start against LA, and that didn't go so well. And for me, Klingberg has really helped settle things down back there and chewed up some big minutes where, I think there was a lot of us that thought his career was over.
Those hips aren't lying. Hey, Noodles, like they are coming here. I want your thoughts too, Aiden Hill. You mentioned, Vegas 5-on-5. They will be better. There will be a response. Your thoughts on Hill's night and where he can kind of take it from here.
I didn't think he had his best as well. There were a couple times, even Leon's goal, he's down and like waving at it, like with his glove. He's got a little bit more for me. And I think that's where the adjustment will be. Hey, Aiden Hill is a big guy, and he didn't look to have a lot of patience in his game last night. He looked to me, he was like he was chasing stuff and down early and just kind of waving at things. The one thing that I would almost compare him to, he plays a lot like Stuart Skinner. They're big. They use their size to their advantage. When they're at their game, you're forced to kind of go around them, where I thought he was a little bit overactive in the net. And listen, the Hyman goal might have been a bit of a screen. It looked like a screen. The Connor Brown goal was brilliant. That's a highlight reel goal. I don't know if you guys saw at the end of it where Brown stopped short of the bench and was staring at them.
I wanted to ask you about that next. Like we were talking about big moments from the game last night, and I said, well, what about like a big moment in the series where Connor Brown walks in, buries it easily,
but it's the silly,
and then stops there, and it's just all business. What's that message? Is there sending a message or what?
If you know Connor Brown, and I don't profess to know him very well, but he's loved in the dressing room, and he's very funny. He's a very, very quick-witted, funny guy, a glue guy, and I could see him like messing with the guys because, you would think he'd be high five and be fired up. He stopped short of the line and was staring at everybody. And I thought it was funny because it's just, you can tell he's feeling it. He's been brilliant his last 3-4 games. I think he's had a great playoff. Like everybody, started slow, but then got really going. But, you can tell right now they're playing with a lot of confidence. They're playing as a group. But yeah, getting back to Aiden Hill, it's a breakaway, but he probably makes that save if he doesn't make himself so small on that play. He was big
very
guy,
compact, wasn't he? Yeah.
And he got really compact on that play. So take advantage of it, enjoy it today, but then all business tomorrow. That's how you have to treat it.
Yeah, the Oilers are so used to being down at any point in a series, really. With McDavid and Draisaitl as a group, that those two guys, they've won 8 series. They were trailing in 7 of them. So kind of rarefied air to be up 1-0 in a series. But how big is that, you think, for this group moving forward to just get out of the gate with a dub and not have to push yourself so hard maybe later in the series like they have a lot over the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's great to win game 1. I still think there's going to be a massive push. I still think there's going to be adversity. If anything, it got moved 1 game or maybe 2 or maybe 3, depending on it, right? Like you always see adversity or storylines emerge in a series. It just matters, it matters when they come out. So I think we're all thinking, okay, Calvin Pickard, at what point are they going to have to go to Skinner when Cinderella strikes midnight type of thing? And it was a non-factor last night. I thought he was rock solid. So, Vegas is going to have a push tomorrow. Is that the game that Pickard has to stand on his head and be a difference maker? Like, to me, there's so many different things, but you're right. instead of us today going, yeah, that's, they've lost 9 of 11 now, or whatever the number would have been. And we all knew it was going to happen. And geez, this guy didn't play well, and this guy didn't play well. They were all business. And, even the guys farther down to the, I thought Arvidsson skated well. I thought Evander Kane looked good. I thought the players that were, I guess we'll call them secondary players. Podkolzin, really sharp, really heavy on the puck. So, to a man, it's more, I have a tough time thinking who didn't have a good night for the Oilers last night, as opposed to, on losses where you're like, oh, there was only a few guys that played well.
Noodles, before we let you go, a couple other things want to hit on. The other series in the West gets rolling tonight. Winnipeg, Dallas, both coming in off extremely emotional and incredible game 7s. How do you expect that series to start with two teams coming in off of highs like that?
I'm fascinated to see how Connor Hellebuck now, what happens. Like even his comments, I think it was yesterday, him saying like, the weight of the world is lifted off my shoulders. I felt something, spark there heading into the third period and overtime. That's the goalie, the third period and the overtime in game 7. That's the goalie we all expected to show up. So can he do that against a very, very good Dallas team that, is going to get Robertson back, going to get Heiskanen back? I'm not sure if it's game 1, but they're going to get him back in the series. And they already have tremendous depth in scoring. So, this would be Winnipeg's biggest test. But it was. I mean, Rantanen going all world. Like if he decided, you know what, I'm taking my gear off for the rest of the playoffs, he's already gone legend, right? I mean, it was ridiculous. Those on consecutive nights, those were two of the best games to watch of all viewing. And then, of course, living where I live, Toronto follows it up with a very unique game. The Sam Bennett story, the Stolars. I thought Bobrovsky was terrible. You just look at that series started. There was some pretty good hockey here. We've been treated, and then last night's game, you've been treated to some pretty good hockey here in the last calendar week.
And then quickly before we let you go, not to keep you too long here, but Florida, Toronto,
as long as you want. Yeah. I always tell you this.
I know. I feel bad imposing on people. Yeah. Florida, Toronto tonight. Does Toronto just stay focused and stay on their business here? I think it would be a problem. I don't know if it's a good idea for them to get retribution for their goaltender.
I agree. I think what you do is you take retribution if it presents itself. You don't go chasing it. So if you can get a clean hit on Sam Bennett, or, maybe the narrative is we're not going after Sam Bennett, we're going after Sam Reinhart or, Alec Barkov. Like to me, there are things, and again, series, like messages within the series. But the last thing you want to do is off the drop of the puck tonight, start chasing Sam Bennett around, because the other thing too is he's tough as nails. So if you knock on that door, he answers it. It might not go well for you as well. So I think the Toronto Maple Leafs have to stay focused. I don't know. I'm waiting here this morning to see if Stolars is skating. That was the weirdest transaction of an injury or whatever happened that I've ever heard of or seen. Because I could understand if Bennett hits him and he lays there and they stretcher him off. That's a little different. Or he throws up and or goes to the bench and throws up and he has to leave. The fact that he played and the next time out he pukes, and then you hear the story that he's being stretchered out, it was almost like a delayed reaction. So what people have done is put that all together and compressed it. You're going, okay, yeah, he did leave on a stretcher, but that seemed a lot longer after he had played. And, again, I think adrenaline comes down and maybe things settle in. I do 100% believe in that. I just hope he's okay. It sounds like he was okay. He was at practice yesterday, just kind of yucking it up with the guys. So it was a very unique situation, put it that way. It wasn't as cut and dry as people are making it out to be here.
As always, man, we really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for the time.